Hi! Let's go on an adventure! Today we're going to discover Arctic Charr. Hi, I'm Brandon Ringstad, and welcome to Nature Meets Paper, the show where we discover the world of marine biology. It is my goal to bring marine biology to the public in a fun and interactive way. This week I'll be demonstrating Arctic Charr in acrylic on this stretch canvas. Now the reason that I paint is so that I can get to know my subject a little bit better. My reference photo was kindly provided by my friends at the Vancouver Aquarium. Thank you so much. Let's dive into it, shall we? Arctic Charr are a fish species, so they have gills, they have a lateral line, they have fins, just like any other fish species out there. They are related to salmon and trout, so they're in the salmonid family, and their range is circumpolar in the Arctic, so they're cold water fish that can be found in freshwater and in salt water. Some populations are born or spawn in freshwater, and then they travel to saltwater, and then they spend a few years there maturing. They're probably around 7 or 8 years in some populations to mature, and then they can return just like salmon. But unlike salmon, the char can spawn like 3 or 4 times in their lifetime. So they'll go up into a river system and they'll spawn, and then they'll come back out into the salt water and do some growing for about 2 or 3 years, and then return for another spawning season. Where the Pacific salmon that we're used to, they only spawn once and then they die, and so that's something different for these guys. These guys are also closely related to the Dolly-Varden char, the Dolly-Varden trout. They look very similar, and some of their populations overlap in space, but the Dolly-Varden is a farther south, like a southern species than the Arctic Charr. Oh, there are different colorations of the char throughout the season. So when they're not spawning, they're kind of a silver green color, and as they mature, they turn different colors, and so the males have a really prominent orange-red kind of coloring to them, where the females kind of stay a muter green, kind of a light silver, have some orange and browns in them, and some of the males, they will get a sexual dimorphism, so they will have like a big hook jaw or something, where the females won't. And they're also known for their big spots and their white fins. So how you can tell a char from another species is they have white stripes on their fins. If you have the opportunity to watch and sit and watch these fish, I highly recommend it. Even if it's any kind of fish, I would just sit, watch, observe, see what they do, and get to know them a little bit. Just by observations. The first thing that you can do, and one of the most important things in science, is observations, and then teach and show other people what you've found and what you observed. It's a really fun way to pass the time. Here's the finished product. Thanks for watching. Do you have any questions that swam into your head? Leave them down below, and I'll answer them in next week's episode. If your question has already been asked, give that question a like. I'll know that it's a popular question. If you want to follow my progress on my art, Follow me on Instagram, my Facebook page, and Google+. Check out next week's episode of Nature Meets Paper, a learning adventure, where I answer your questions about Arctic Charr. Links are underwater. Thanks, and keep on adventuring.